Hello, welcome back to my workshop. This is a video for a chap, primarily for a chap called Scott, whose father, he sort of inherited from his father amongst his things, a camera similar but not the same as this. This is a Yashica Mat-124G, quite like this camera, does some interesting things. This one I bought for, I think, just under 100 quid. Two of those, what's that about? Well, that is twin lenses, and this is a twin lens reflex camera. There's quite a lot of these about, various different sorts. There was a Kodak Brownie one that was done that you don't have any focusing on. This is a medium format one. This one takes 120 roll film. I'll come on to what camera Scott's got in a minute. What is it? How does it work? And what's the benefit? Let's just quickly run through some of the things about this camera. Firstly, you don't generally do a lot with that without doing that. Flicking this up, and you put it back down by just pushing there, like that. Taking the lens cover off already. Can't see a lot out of the lens cover, but you can see in there, you might just be able to see that you can see, and that's what you focus on, unless you are trying to do sport shots, in which case you can push this here, push that down, that then clips down, and then you can look through that hole here for a sports viewfinder. Don't generally do that. If you need to get that flat back up, you should see a catch down there. Not sure what it is on the Yashica Mat, it's not the Yashica Mat, Yashica LM-44, which is what Scott's got. What I'm going to do is I'll put a link to the manual for the Yashica LM-44 in either the description or the pinned comment. So here is the camera, and this one here focuses, and as does the Yashica, the LM-44, by moving the front in and out. So it works quite a lot, it doesn't work quite a lot like a bellows camera, but that's how that focuses. So these two cameras are fixed focus and are fixed in place, so these two lenses are. And in this case, you adjust here, you adjust the aperture, which I'll go through in a minute. And this one has a built-in light meter. Now let me just go stick this on a tripod, and let me just show you a few other things. Okay, so your focus is on this side. Now there isn't a great deal to focus on out there, so you won't be able to see particularly well. Let me just see if I can just at that height. Do you know what? I think I might have more luck. 2 seconds, let me just see if I can get a better. No, not really. Takes a stand, sits on a standard tripod. The only thing about that is that this one certainly is a relatively heavy camera. Other twin lens reflex cameras are available, like Rollei's and the like. Rollei did quite a lot of them. You can get things like the Brownie, which is I think a fairly fixed focus, and you can also get, or at least it doesn't focus like this, where you are viewing through one of these. The other thing is, if you flick that, you get a magnifying glass up, and then you can peer down and get exactly what you want into focus. In this case, the leaves just outside the window, which I do need to, got a couple of weeds growing outside the window, I do need to get rid of those. Right, so that's the focusing. You can look there. It does have on the side here where it's focused at. It also has on the side, and I think, yeah, it has the, so if you put that on 12, at 22 aperture, you're focused between 3.3 feet and, is that feet? No? That would imply, oh no, between 33 feet, give or take 30 feet, and 1.5 feet. On the other hand, if you put that up to full, you'll focus from infinity down to 12 feet at 22. Now if I just quickly, if you look there, there is a light meter. The LM-44 has a completely different light meter. You'd need to read the manual for working out exactly how that works. Let me just tip this back a little bit. You can see better. Or forward rather. Right, okay. So you have a light meter on the top of the Yashica. You should be able to see a little red line, and then you see the yellow fork. The yellow fork, where that is, I twiddle with these. This one here on the right adjusts the exposure from half a second, 200 and so quarter of a second and down, and this one over here adjusts the aperture, and you can see what the aperture is set to there. So that's f3.5 all the way up to f32. So that's reasonably self-explanatory. Film wind on is reasonably straightforward. On the LM-44 you push a button in and you have a knob to turn, not quite sure which way you need to turn it. This one on the other hand has a nice little crank handle. It's already wound on, so what I'm going to do is just point that over towards the lathe. I'm going to take a black and white picture. Actually, let me just see now, get that off there, and I'm going to take a quick black and white picture of my lathe from the wrong end. Let me put that down to f3.5. Should then be able to get away with, no. Okay, so we're down to a very slow aperture, 1/30th of a second. But look, I'm going to take the lock off, and the major thing about this is it's very quiet. One of the great things I like about this as a camera is you can sit there in a cafe, something or other, watching life go by. You can set the focus here, and then as long as you've got it wound on, and I think we're out of film now, as long as you've got it wound on, you can then just sit there and quietly, right now, take a picture. And that's how that works. I'm just trying to remember how you do the check, what does that say there? Yep. It's not wound on enough to take another picture, so that film is done. We have to pull that out. No, we don't. I shall look up how to undo to get the film out, because you then just crank that on. Anyway, broadly speaking, on the Yashicas, Rollies and the like, that's your focus, your film wind on. The LM-44 does also have a definite stop. It is a very quiet camera, and personally speaking, I quite like them. Put a link down below, and it also takes roll film. I'll put a picture of the roll films that it takes. On the left hand side you'll see a picture of a 35mm film canister in the middle of 127, which goes in the LM-44, and this takes a 120. One of the great advantages of the 120 is that so many odd cameras use them that they are still available and still relatively cheap. The 127 is still available, but it's a bit more expensive. Another thing, by the way, is that these often have bayonet fittings on these for various different accessories. So you can put on, for example, can be useful if I can get it lined up the right way. There we go, I think. If I'm not being a klutz, and I am, you can get the hood on. Hold on. I can't. Ah, there we go. Right. So you can fit a hood on. You can also get extra lenses that will fit on there, so for changing the focal length. Right. I shall put some links to the manuals for the LM-44 for Scott in the description. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, please share, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comments welcome.